Today I want to talk about the new village system available in Season 2 of Call of Dragons. And this system is a big deal. It gives you more elixir and elixir capacity. It gives you, well, peacekeeping damage isn't that big of a deal, but hero experience? Yeah, so stick around in this video for the things you need to know about capturing villages when you get into your second season of Call of Dragons. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming and this video is sponsored by the makers of Call of Dragons. And when you're in your first season of Call of Dragons, you'll see lots of these villages on the map. But when you get into your second season, technically it's called Season 1+, you'll start to gain access to these villages which give you extra buffs. And of course, who doesn't want to get some extra buffs for your city? Now, there are a number of ways that you actually can manage these buffs. However, if you see the little new home icon in the top center of the screen, you can click this and it takes you to your village management screen. This shows you the number of villages that you have and the benefits that they're giving. And the way that these work is pretty simple. You capture the village by fighting a boss, and when you defeat the boss, you then get the buff. And that buff lasts until you get rid of it. But there is a limited number of people that can get a buff from each village, which means you do want to move really quickly on picking up these buffs because they're a big deal. 5% more hero experience? Dude, that is like a behemoth buff worth of value. Like if I just scroll out really quickly and we review some of the behemoths, like 5% experience buff, I mean, that just seems big. This one gives 5% gathering speed. If we look at other ways you can get, for example, experience gain, we go into the policy board, right? And if you max the first war studies, that's 5%. This buff is going to stack on top of all the other hero experience you gain you get. And I just want to point out that, like, hero experience means higher level heroes or more heroes leveled up, which means you get value fighting other players. So this is a big deal. Now, to capture a village, it's actually very simple. You want to bring your troops over to the village first. When you're ready, you want to hit the raid button. It's going to tell you that it takes 40 stamina to actually fight this thing. So for each hero that participates in the capture of the village, you're going to drop 40 stamina on this hero, which, you know, you recover 10 stamina per hour. If you do this before bed, you could wake up having, just captured 2 villages and your stamina's basically full all over again, depending on how long you sort of sleep at night, right? But I want to go in and I'm going to do this. We're going to hit confirm. There he is. I found that even with T5, I need to use 2 armies. So I'm going to have my cavalry tank this and then swing in with the mages as well. And I lost 40 stamina a pop on each of my marches to go and do this. Now, I might have been able to solo him. So maybe it was a little aggressive to use 2 marches, but you know what? We're just going to do it and make sure we get the win, which in this case is going to be happening for sure. I'm going to use my Lilia Velen over here, use my Infernal Flame. Amazing single target damage on this thing. Village occupied. That's it, man. It was that easy, and now I get 5% more experience for every Darkling and Dark Creature that I battle. That is insane. Now I can run these hero combinations back to my city, or if you want to find other villages to go and capture, why don't we do this instead? You make your way over to your alliance screen and you go over to your territory. In order to raid a village, you do have to have it on your alliance's territory. So we can see all of the villages on territory right over here. And it even shows you like, hey, Chisgule Gaming, you have these 2 with the green person symbol on the flag next to those. So this third one I've not done yet. And it's telling me it's giving me 3.5% hero experience. Okay, so I want to get that because between these 2 buffs, I get 8.5% more experience per Darkling. Hello? And very important to understand is there's a limit to the number of people that can occupy the village. So when that limit is hit, you can no longer take it. So I really want to get in on this action before the limit is hit. So I'm going to bring my marches down here and you can see that's where the location is. Again, to find the village can be a little tricky if you're just trying to do this village visually. You can see it's got the little icon over here, the little house, but it looks awfully similar to a gold node, if we're being honest with each other, right? So what I like to do instead is, again, go to your alliance territory, scroll on down, and boom. That's how you're going to go select the location. You click it, and there it is. Now, you will notice I have 3 villages here, and I am missing one of the villages that my alliance has. So how do I have a village that doesn't belong to my alliance, right? Well, it turns out that after you capture a village, the buff stays with you even after you leave the alliance. So if you saw my video yesterday, I resurged to a new zone. Card will be up in the top if you want to check out that video on how resurgence works. So even though I left this alliance and left this starting zone, I still have this buff. Now, if I wanted to get rid of the higher elixir capacity, which I do not, I could abandon it by pushing the abandon button, and that's how I would get rid of it. If I wanted to see who had it, I could click the little icon right over there on the left-hand side. Okay, I'll do it again so you can see. In the upper left, the little flag icon with the people indicators there, like a, God, this is going to date me a little bit, but it's like a Microsoft SharePoint little icon, whatever. You click into that, and boom, here we are. Now, one thing that's a little weird here that I haven't yet figured out is why some people have these swords next to them and others do not. When I click it, it says you're occupying this village. So, like, I don't know if you could, like, challenge another player to take the village from them or something. I'm definitely not sure what this icon is here for. And if you know, definitely leave a comment down below. I'm kind of curious for what that is. But now we make our way back over here, okay? And we're going to take this new village. We're going to hit raid. 3.5% experience. Hell yeah. It's going to take another 40 stamina per hero. So I'm going to do it anyways. And we can try to solo this thing with my mages and see how I do. I don't think I get the win solo, but maybe I do at this point. So we'll just give it a shot and see how it goes. Because obviously burning stamina is a bad thing. I don't have any fighting right now though, so maybe it's fine. Oh, wow. This village is actually very easy. Now, the villages do get harder and harder as the season progresses. In fact, you'll gain access to a higher village limit as the season progresses as well. So you want to manage your collection of villages as the season evolves to, I think, have more hero experience gain at the start and then more elixir production whenever you're fighting in a perfect world. But remember, because it takes stamina to go fight it, you also need stamina to fight other players, so just be careful. Now, we've got the 4 buffs. Boom. That's a total of 8.5% extra hero experience. Man, that's a big deal. And that was so easy to do. Now, theoretically, I could switch alliances, and I could walk over to their villages and take them. And, you know, the reason you wouldn't want to share your villages like that is that, again, the number of slots is really limited for each village. So you may not want other people to go and get them. But if I just get a look around the map over here, we try to find another village. There's a gift I could go claim at some point. Here's a village, right? So I could theoretically join this alliance and get this extra damage dealt to villages. Man, that has got to be one of the most worthless buffs on the board. There are still people that have it, but only 6, and that tells you everything you need to know but the value of that particular village buff. That's a yikes. But as we get into other zones, and in particular, I kind of want to look into the final zone and kind of see what that looks like. Here's the dragon. What does a village look like in this zone? Here's one. What's the buff for this? I'm just so curious. 6,000 elixir capacity limit, and that's a level 10 village. So generally speaking, the higher the level of the village, the more buff it gives, and only 20 people can have this? Wow, that's such a small number. I don't know what the answer is for trying to boot someone out of getting a village, but it looks like it's first come, first serve, which if I were giving feedback on the village system, that would be my main sort of point of feedback, is that it's creating a weird and seemingly, I don't know, dare I say, unnecessary conflict among your members about, you know, who actually gets to enjoy the benefit of these villages, who gets to claim this. 20 people get it. 50 people can get this one. It's got a 3,000 elixir capacity limit. Very interesting. I mean, we all know that toward the end of the season, every alliance can have almost 200 people in there. So a lot of people will be vying for control of these villages. Now, if you're wondering, when do you get access to more villages? Well, if you go into your Augur Stone, the sort of chronicles of the season will help reveal this to you. And again, I mentioned we're in season 1+. It's technically our second season, but I guess it's a different format than what like the new or eventual season 2 is going to look like. So it's called Season 1 plus Stars Reignited. And if I click my way through these chronicles, we can see, I think it's right over here, the number of villages you can occupy goes up by 5. So eventually, I think you get up to like 20 villages that you can hold, which is a pretty big number. Let's just see here. There's another 5 villages. Okay, so at least 15. And this is, power rankings. Okay, cool. I mean, you're going to want a lot of these. There's 20 villages total for sure. Are there any other interesting chronicles that give me capacity? Oh my, 25? Wow. At least 25. I might have missed one. So you're going to get a lot of these things and get them early before they get all rated by other people first. That's my thought there. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, do me a favor, consider throwing a like on here and subscribing to the channel. If you saw my video yesterday, again, I mentioned that I resurged, which means my policies got reset and I lost half my policy currency. That's prestige. But I went in and I started to tech up and I went for a lot of healing because it put 80% of my troops in my hospital when I resurged, which is brutal. But now at least my elixir production is up to 440,000 per day. So I'll clear out my hospital in the remaining 4 days. And I think it's in like not even 6 days that we'll be fighting in the next zone, potentially. So consider subscribing if you haven't already and you want to see that battling. If you want to see the video where I resurged, card will be in the end screen. Resurging is the way that you can reset your policies. And that, my friends, is a pretty big deal.